Hello, it's Satori, and this is my deck profile on third place UK Leeds Spike Brothers. Before I begin, I'm just gonna say this is gonna be a very low effort video. I'm just recording this on my phone. And before I get into the deck profile, I have some rambling to do with shoutouts and my thoughts on the menu and everything else. So we'll put a timestamp where the deck profile starts. First of all, I want to do some shout outs. First to my locals. Obviously, if I didn't have a locals, I wouldn't have a drive to play the game. And there's a lot of good players in my locals, which makes me constantly improve as well. So this third place is directly impacted by them as well. I want to give a shout out to Gediminas and Arnas. These are two players. One of them is not playing anymore. The other one is like playing sometimes. But these are the two really good friends at the beginning of my TCG journey, both Yu-Gi-Oh! And Vanguard, that pushed me playing the games, that made me enjoy the games, borrowed me cards, we would exchange deck ideas, and basically my love for TCGs was accelerated by these people. To Millie, my significant other that joined me in Leeds, she also did pretty well for her first BCS in Standard, going for free. So good job to her. And obviously being a great emotional support. After I got my third place, everyone hugged me. Then Millie came up to hug me. It was a lot of emotions, and I was literally crying multiple times during that time. Obviously, I want to give a big shout outs to MCC Stonks, MCC Sweep. I got third place. Sage got first place in premium. It's an amazing feeling. Sage helped me out a little bit with Spike's list, bouncing off ideas, made me refine my own ideas. So that's great. Thank you all thank you all members of MCC. Love you all. Every other homie I got to meet this weekend, including people I've already met before and people that I've met for the first time. Like, I knew their nicknames, but I've never seen their faces. Saying hi, getting to hang out at least for a little bit was amazing, and I'm very thankful for it. Just checking the camera. Yeah, seems to be fine. Then I want to give a big shout out to the venue, to Living Realms. This has been an amazing experience. The venue was great. The organization was great. We started not on time, but by Vanguard standards. We started a lot earlier than usual, which is amazing. Most rounds went swiftly. Been some problems in V Premium with having to repair some of the rounds, but that's fine. Is there anything else? Obviously, congratulations to Matas getting top 8 in V Premium from my locals. And a big shout out to both Matas and Mark. Matas not only went top 8 in V Premium, but also went X2 on Premium. And Marcus also went X2 on both days, which is really amazing. Both of these guys were having their first BCS. And with that, maybe if I remember something else. Big apology to judges. I've caused a little bit of a troublesome situation in my for the third place match. I'm extremely sorry. I was a little bit rude as well, so I've tried to apologize in person to all the judges that I saw at the time, but if any of them haven't seen, if I haven't apologized to any of them personally, I apologize again. First of all, it is my own responsibility to know my own cards, so even though there were 3 judges watching my game, first, it's always my responsibility to know what my cards do. And I'm very thankful to Matt for being able to repair the game state. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. Going into the deck profile, so obviously this is Galley, but with a higher lean onto MaxGreedon combo. So I'll explain most of my choices. So obviously the starter, Mega Trainer, draw a card, nothing really else you can be playing in this spot. For the triggers, also not exactly a standard lineup. So I was essentially playing 6 crit with DOT, 4 charge crits, and 1 crit sentinel. PGs are really important in this format, but I feel like giving up. I felt like giving one of them up to make my MaxGreedon turns scarier. I don't really regret it, and obviously you see that I'm running 4 stride crits, and then there's 3 draw PGs. That means I am running only 3 Mecha Instructor. I did not really find myself missing the 4th one. Sometimes, obviously, you can open up with an instructor without searching it with Galley and do instructor combos before Galley. But I never wanted to see this in the damage zone. Getting a plus 5k defensive almost feels bad and irrelevant at all situations unless paired with another defensive. So never really missed another one of those, but if you're playing more of a Galley combo rather than leaning into MaxGreedon, you should be playing 4 of these. As well as probably playing 4 draw PGs and not swapping them out for 1 Sentinel. Obviously, another reason to play cutting down the stand for another crit is because you always want to stride with 1 card. Most of your hand is combo pieces, and you can extend further, so you don't want to be dropping 2 cards to stride. And on top of that, we also have 4 Heal Guardians. Not much to explain. This is also a great free. If they damage the knife, you can put a damage in, take a damage yourself. This is both relevant on Galley turns to have a CB to combo further, and also this is amazing on MaxGreedon turns, because if you get damage denied and you don't have Max and Greedon, but you have this and Dexter, you can call this, take a damage, call it Dexter, put this into Soul, and this is a great free, so you can call Max and Greedon off of this, so that's very cool. So that's the triggers. For Ambush Dexter, I don't think there's much explaining to do with this card. This is one of the best cards in the deck. Has a on-ride effect, but you most of the time don't want to be riding this because you want to keep this in your hand, but it does filter, which is nice. And on rearguard, counterblast 1, put a great 2 or higher rearguard into your soul. Search for 2 units of the same grade from your deck. Searches for your maxes. You can search, you can put a grade 3 into soul and search for like a Lucifer to countercharge another grade 3 for beat sticks. Obviously, the most important part of this card is this is the combo enabler on Galley turns, enabling to do you 2 or 3 more attacks paired with Instructor and another random grade 2 on your board. So this card is amazing. And again, counterblast 1, put a grade 3 into soul. You can search out a Greedon and Max, so you can copy them with Rising if you rode up and want to kill your opponent or push them earlier, and also gives you 1 extra soul. So Dexter is amazing. Then I decided to run 3 of V Verdi and 1 G Verdi. I didn't really find myself needing the G Verdi that much. I could see myself both continuing with this and switching out the G Verdi for a 4th V Verdi because, well, this guarantees your Rising and is a Stride of Fire. That's pretty cool. This is really important for your grade 2 gaming because this is a 13k beat stick paired with Reckless Express. I will explain that later, and Fullback and some other cards. Being a 13k beat stick is amazing. Which makes you, which it can swing over grade 2s by itself, and it can make columns that go through a defensive, which is really important. And when your opponent damage denies you, doesn't give you counterblast on turn 2 to use Rona or Davy, this paired with a Fullback or a Reckless Express is a 13k beat stick, which when you're playing without any damage is massive to still be able to grade 2 game. 3 Reckless Express. This was one of the cards that I didn't know if I should be running. In this slot, I was considering playing Rolox. Rolox would have been extremely good. If you want to mess around with this deck a little bit differently, I think Rolox is a great inclusion, but This card was doing all day long what I wanted it to do. On ride, you can check pay counterblast 1 if it's on V. Okay, I'm messing up the effect. On place, counterblast 1, search top 7 for any unit, call it to rest. If it's on Vanguard, you can substitute the counterblast for a soul blast. So basically, on right, soul blast 1, check top 7, call a unit to rest. This is basically a check top 7 for a fullback. If you don't find the fullback, you're calling something else. Sometimes a Verdi can be nice to settle for an next turn. Maybe you're calling another one of these. I almost killed myself on playing a fourth one because, again, people seem to like damage denying you on turn 2. Playing a Reckless Express and paired with maybe another V Verdi to proc the Verdi. This makes Grade 2 gaming much better. And obviously, if you have this on rear guard and you're going into MaxGreedon turn, at the beginning of the turn, it goes into soul, you call another one if you have in deck, and it's a +1 for your max. So you don't have to call more units from your hand to trigger max's condition. That's it for grade 1s, and for grade 2s we're running 1, 2, 3, 4 Rona, and basically in the same slot I'll be putting down a Davy, because Davy was basically a 5th Rona for me. That's why I'm playing the Davy. So I prefer the Rona because it can boost. It's better in grade 2 gaming, and some niche scenarios in galley combos where you can leave it as a booster. And basically why I prefer Rona is because I'm only playing 2 Dudley Lucifer, and this only calls Dudley, so I can't call anything else. The 2 Dudley Lucifers are the only targets for the Davy, and obviously Rona can call any grade 3, which is important not only for grade 2 gaming and galley combos, but it's also important to on your right up turns. If you have only max or only Greedon, you can search out the other. So that's why these cards are really important. They're your backbone of grade 2 gaming if you receive a counterblast. I didn't feel like I needed more, maybe a 6th one, but compared to how much I was getting damaged denied, I don't think I would be running more anyway, because they are dead cards if you don't have the counterblast. One of the best cards in the deck, number 2, is Agile Fullback. So this card does a lot. Fuels your soul. This is a really important combo piece during galley turns. Grade 2 gaming. It's an extra attack on grade 2 gaming. So when you place it down in center back row, it can attack from there. If it was placed by an ability, it gains plus 10k as well. So it's a 20k attacker during grade 2 gaming on your right up turn. During galley turns, it's 30k by itself. This card is amazing. It makes your grade 2 game good. It fuels your soul. And it's one of the best attackers in the deck. So now we're gonna go into one-offs. Obviously Davy wasn't one-off as well, but Davy was like a 5th Rona, so I consider it less of a one-off. Lesser black card. So this card is a 14k beat stick when charging, 24 under galley, and this is counterblast 1. After it goes back to the deck, you can call out a Mecha Instructor. So you basically put it on, so when you call this out, if you call this out plus something else in galley turn, you put the other column on the force marker, you put this not on the force marker, attack with that column, attack with this, call an instructor on the force marker, and then the instructor you can combo off. Because I only played 2 Lucifer and I had to be careful with my soul, I feel like this card could be cuttable. It did win me my 3rd place match game, but I didn't use it too much throughout the day. I wasn't upset it was in the deck, but this is a possible card to cut if you want to improve the deck. 1 Chemist. This was like a last minute inclusion. This card is amazing. On a force marker during galley turn, this is with the effect, it's 52k by itself. And coming when like a week before the event, I really wanted to include like 1 Bracky just for the situations when one of my opponent checks defensives and I don't really have anything else to call to on galley turn to combo off. And this was basically a Bracky, but bigger, and I didn't care because if I'm doing a galley turn, I probably have enough soul to use it anyway. So I think it won me 1 or 2 games possibly. It didn't directly swing for a game, but I think just because they had to guard it or forcefully take the damage from this was the key to winning the game. So this card is amazing. I will probably continue playing this at 1. And one Breed Spurt. So this card is nice because some decks have insane grade 2 game, especially with their grade 2s, so you can Dexter for this. Also, if your opponent checks a lot of defensives, checks an OT, you can just call this with Galley to draw a card and try to survive till next turn. Obviously, if you hard draw it, you just place it down and it's filter. It goes into soul, you draw a card. And another thing is this also returns 1 normal unit back into your deck, so you can return your combo pieces into your deck, what you're missing. Maybe you draw too many agile fullbacks, you need 1 on the deck, maybe something else. So this card just has a lot of multi-purposes in one slot, and I felt like the things that it does are important, and so this is why I used one of my tech slots for it. So that's it for grade 2s. And for grade 3s, you're running 4 Rising Nova. So this card is the most important grade 3 in the deck because it gives you 2 markers. The force 2 is not relevant in all matchups and not in all games it will be relevant, but the pressure from it is amazing. Also, doubling up as not only giving you 2 markers but also enabling your amazing write-up turn is really good. And you can also hard search it with one of the G Verdies. So this card is amazing. I don't really have much else to talk about it. It gives 2 markers, it copies skills, so there's not much else to say. So now these cards are enabled by the Rising, so you will be copying one of these and one of these, and this enables the free vanguard attack combo. So obviously Greedon is if you have 4 standing units, you can put them at Soul Blast 2, put 4 standing units into your soul, restand the vanguard with all the drives and everything. So first use that. And then for the second restand, you will be using max skill, which is Soul Blast 3, and restand with -1, but restands the whole column. So if you have if you have a booster, you can boost again, but you can also just have a fullback under Rising Nova and restand that for another attack. So which is also pretty good. Also, it's not the end of the world to ride max because it gives plus 5k shield to all the units called during your opponent's turn, which is important. So it's like if you ride this, you get a little bit tankier. Didn't really come up, but it is a relevant effect. And for the last 2 main deck cards is 2 Lucifer. I would love to run 3. I just refuse to run 11 grade 3s. 10 grade 3s was the number that I was most comfortable with reaching and not more. So obviously I'm not running Mikani, which potentially cost me my semifinals game because I kind of lost to Hanali. I kind of lost to DOT as well. I maybe could have played around maybe could have managed my counterblast with Lucifer's during galley turns, but I think that game was pretty doomed anyway. But yeah, this card is amazing. Refunding your counterblast is great because you're calling this out as a beat stick and you refund the counterblast. So you can use it for other things, is great. Also in niche situations where you are lacking soul for uh, MaxGreedon, you can sometimes copy this to put another extra soul to use for a greed on either a max instead of doing both of them, which does come up time to time. Also, coming back to 2 Lucy, another reason why I only play 2 is because you might see that I'm using up quite a lot of soul for other things, and I'm leaning hard into MaxGreedon, so I can't willy-nilly be throwing out my soul. And that's another reason why it's only like 2 Lucifer, because when I was deck building the deck, I already had the mindset that I won't always have access to countercharge, and I was playing with that mindset, so that was fine. Coming in to the G zone, there's nothing really too cool here. Free galley. Don't think I ever went into the second one, so yeah, it's there. Sometimes you just play random long games, and this is the best stride. So obviously, heart and soul of the deck. When the unit attacks, gains plus 10k. After the attack, it goes back into the bottom of the deck. On attack, Soul Blast 1, you call 2 grade 2 or less units from the deck. And all of your field to open circle. Important. And all of your units gain boost until the end of the turn. So obviously this is what enables the 9, 10, 11, 12 combo attack turns. So yeah. So this plus obviously rising MaxGreedon makes both your riding up and your first stride very good turns. 2 Violent Saves, I would have played the third one. I played 2 Verminous as well, so I think 1 Verminous is more than enough. I would have played the third Violent Saves against shitty matchups like Mega Colony or like Chaos or something when you have your front row locked. This with the counterblast every time you draw more cards, which allows you to play the game. Maybe find a opportune moment to kill them back. So yeah, these never came up, but oh, I think I went into Violent Saves once, but that game was already lost, so it didn't matter. 1 Hell Hard, I basically never get to this. 1 series was not relevant, but it can come up in niche situations. 2 of this G-Guard, this G-Guard is amazing. Counterblast 1, put 3 normal units back into the bottom of your deck. And this unit gains the shield of the units put back, and also if you put a grade 3 back into the bottom of your deck, you get to draw a card. So ideally, if you need max shield, you're putting back 2 grade 1s and 1 grade 3 for plus 20k shield, so it's a 35k shield, and you get to draw a card for a counterblast, which is insane. Also, if you need less shield, you can recycle other combo pieces, which is great. I've not used either of these, but these just are free and get big, and this also returns units back into your deck. They're great G-Guards, just never came up. I was not G-Guarding too much throughout the tournament anyway. And 1 Dismal didn't come up as well. For G-Zone, I would cut down maybe like on the Galley and a Verminous, maybe something else, add a Farmilo and a Dust. They don't come up often as well either, but I feel like they're niche enough to sometimes randomly win games where other strides can't. So that has been the deck profile. Winning third place means getting third place in premium in a large event like UK packed with a lot of good players means the world to me. I have been playing this game for a long time, but only from 2019 I've started competing in competitive events. Obviously COVID happened after that, so like basically 2022 is my real first season playing this game competitively in Bushiroad events. Obviously getting third back in Belgium Big shout outs to Mash and Michael being my teammates in Springfest. Playing in Top Cut was really stressful and prepared me well for UK, and I was dealing with my nerves a lot better because of it. So this was a great experience. I am now trying to figure out how to budget my trip for Worlds that should be coming, and I hope more MCC players qualify for Worlds as well. And that's been it. Thank you to the judges, to the venue, to all people that participated for making this weekend amazing. And see some of you in Worlds. Bye bye.